Okay, so today we're going to talk about an example of finding ordered pairs of solutions of equations. And all of these equations have two variables. Okay, so these are all examples of equations with two variables. And so we want to find solutions to these. So one way is to create a table. And so all you have to do is pick a variable, pick a value for one of the variables. Typically we do x, and so in this case here, let's create a table. And so all we have to want to do is find a solution, right? So all we have to do is pick a point for x. So let's just pick 0. So what happens when x is equal to 0? Well, y equals 4 times 0 minus 1. So y is equal to negative 1. So there's a solution right there. 0, negative 1. Well, what if we use 1? What if we plug in 1 for x? Well, now y equals 4 times 1 minus 1, which equals 3. Right? Or what if I put in negative 1? Right? Let's put in negative 1. So that's going to be 4 times negative 1 minus 1, and that's going to be equal to negative 5. Okay, so I found 3 solutions. So 3 solutions would be what? Well, one solution is 0, comma negative 1. Another solution is 1, comma 3. And another solution is negative 1, comma negative 5. Okay? Now, what about this one here? So again, we can plug in values for x. Okay? If we plug in a value for x, again, let's do our table. And let's plug in negative 1. Okay? Now, what would we have to do to both sides here? We'd have to square both sides to get rid of the radical, right? So let's do that. So we're going to get negative 1 equals the square root of y minus 1. And so if we square both sides, we get negative 1 squared equals y minus 1, the square root of y minus 1 squared. And so this becomes 1 equals y minus 1, right? And so now we're squaring both sides, so we don't have to worry about plus minus. And so now if we add 1 to both sides, we get y equals 2. Okay? And so again, we could do 0, right? Well, we could do 0. If we plug in 0, well, 0 for x, we're just going to get 0 equals the square root of y minus 1. And if we square both sides, we're just going to get 0 equals y minus 1. And so y equals 1. Okay? And so one of the solutions here for this equation is negative 1, comma 2. And another one is going to be 0, comma 1. Okay? So here, let me do this. Okay, now what about the last one? Okay, here, again, we can plug in values of x. So if I plug in values of x, and let's put negative 1 in here. And again, you can choose whatever numbers you want. There's an infinite number of solutions for these. So let's just choose negative 1. And if I do this, now again, I'm not going to work this out, but if I do negative 1 squared is 1, minus 4, so 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So there's a solution. If I plug in 0, then I just get negative 4. And if I plug in 1, I get negative 3 again. Okay? And so here I've got three solutions. And so one solution is -1 comma -3. Another solution is 0 comma -4. And another solution is 1 comma -3. And so those are examples of finding ordered pair solutions of equations with two variables. That's it.